Welcome to today's beach report. I haven't done a members only live in a while, so I thought I would check in with my members. Hello, everybody. I may or may not make this video available for public consumption, but you guys in my membership are the first to see it. Sup, Donna? Hello, hello. Good morning. It's still morning. It's almost noon, but it's still morning. It is such a beautiful day outside. And I swear, the second I turned on my live, the birds stopped singing. Now, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I am over here drinking my homemade bone broth. That's right, I made this all by myself. I put some chicken bones with, they still had meat on them actually. I had frozen them. Anyway, I put them in a pot and I cooked them up for like 25 hours, just on simmer. First I boiled it and then I let them simmer for 25 hours and I got myself some homemade bone broth. It is delicious, full of collagen and antioxidants, I think. Anyway, Gina's here. She's in the kitchen. So she's visiting. So I'm super stoked. We're gonna have so much fun the next few days. Donna bought some bourbon vanilla Jim Beam coffee at the dollar store. And you're having coffee. Be careful. What is that bourbon vanilla Jim Beam? I mean, that sounds like not coffee, but it sounds yum. Wait, speaking of coffee, I've got my coffee right here along with my bone broth. Looks like I'm just doing this show for you, Donna. What's up with that? Yeah, woo woo. We should dance and sing. So I'm just gonna go dive right into it anyway. Have you heard of the PANICANs? Do you know what a PANICAN is? According to the Independent, well actually this is just an article I'm gonna read to you, but a PANICAN is actually something that President Trump made up of, a new party. It's the party of weak and stupid people. What has Celtic salt and coconut oil? I could put that in my bone broth. That would probably be pretty good. I don't know if I need the coconut oil, but Celtic salt sounds yum. Everybody else has a job and a family. Yeah, it's just you and me, girlfriend. Anyway, don't be a PANICAN. You're not a PANICAN, are you? And I'm not sure if Trump means it to be don't be a PANICAN or don't be a panickin. Like, I'm not really sure how it goes, but I love it. I think it's awesome, and I don't want to be a panickin, weak and stupid person. Don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panickin. Okay, here's what the article in the Independent, this is from the UK. And they're going crazy over there in the UK. President Trump is just mixing it all up all over the world. From reproductive rights to climate change to big tech, the Independent is on the ground when the story is developing. Oh wait, this is about the Independent. Oh, come on, give me an article. All right, well, on the campaign trail, Donald Trump repeatedly touted the most beautiful word in the dictionary: tariff. I know, his speech was like not a dry eye in the house. I mean, it was amazing, super amazing. Okay, now as president, Trump has conjured up a brand new expression for those voicing dissent against his sweeping levies targeting every country. They say except for Russia, but I'm sure he's got something going with Russia too. I mean, you know, this is a lefty newspaper. I don't know about the Independent, but whatever. As trillions of dollars are wiped from Wall Street, Yeah, right, wiped from Wall Street. That's imaginary anyway. And markets around the globe reel from his tariff onslaught. By the way, the markets have jumped again. So, wait, when was this article published? It's a couple days ago. I'm not seeing a date on this. Anyway, Trump started calling the PANICAN party out a few days ago. So, as people were flipping out over the stock market, which, like, seriously rises and falls, like, as the day is long. Come on, seriously. Okay, so Trump says a PANICAN is a new party for the weak and stupid. Those who have lost life savings and sweating big tech companies that have seen millions wiped off their market value. Yeah, like they ever were worth millions. I mean, right there, it's such BS anyway. The panic part is self-evident. Anyone worried about the economic impact of his sweeping tariffs. The can at the end could either refer to Americans generally, or more pointedly, Republicans who dare to question Trump's reason. Or how about those of us who can think for ourselves? There's that. Stock markets have continued to slide, with Thursday, the day after Trump's announcement, so this was last week actually, marking Wall Street's single largest decline since COVID-19 pandemic in 2020, with about 3.1 trillion wiped from the market. Oh, guess what? It all came back, and it went even higher. So this article is pretty pathetic. The S&P 500, which has fallen about 10% since Trump's Liberation Day, was down another 0.2% Monday, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average fell by 0.9%. Oh my God! The Nasdaq, however, rallied 5.1%. Woo woo! So there's that. In a defiant post, Trump told the quivering panicans that they had no place in his Republican Party if they couldn't accept his tariff gamble. The United States has a chance to do something that should have been done decades ago. Totally agree. He said after spending a weekend on the golf course as markets tanked. Yeah, I love these newspaper articles. They're so angry that President Trump spent some time on the golf course. Are you kidding me? Oh my God. They sat there mute while Biden was on the beach all day, every day. And when he wasn't on the beach, he was sleeping. I mean, good Lord. Seriously, they're going to get mad at Trump for being on the golf course. Are you kidding? Hey, LaDonna, good to see you. Oh man, Donna and I were just here talking about the panicans. So according to President Trump, don't be weak, don't be stupid, don't be a panican. Be strong, courageous, and patient, and greatness will be the result. Ah, woo woo. So I'm drinking my bone broth. It's very yummy. Ooh, I'm gonna finish it. Okay, Jon Stewart, of course, mocked Trump's new nickname for those concerned about his trade tariffs, which are causing economic chaos around the world. Okay, you know what? Let's do a little fact check on that. See what the stock market's doing today. The Dow Jones Industrial Average. Where's it at? Where's it at? I'm looking it up for you guys. Hang on. Yes, Darla should be here shortly. I know. She has to take lunch sometime, right? This is my lunchtime show. Welcome to my lunchtime show. It's a lot easier to handle than the sunrise show. I can't be doing that. Okay, so the Dow is, let's see what the news says about the Dow stock market today. So Yahoo Finance says Dow sinks 300 points, S&P 500 nears bear market as Trump's tariffs keep roiling Wall Street. Market Watch says stock market today, Dow wavers, S&P 500 and Nasdaq rise. They rise even after China slaps 84% tariffs on U.S. goods. Ooh, how'd that happen? Unbelievable. All right, so we're going to read an article from Investors Business Daily. This just came out 53 minutes ago. The headline is Stock Market Today, Dow Jones slips despite China trade war news. Nvidia, Tesla jump as Trump issues this warning. Get ready. The Dow Jones Industrial Average slipped while other indexes were mixed Wednesday as President Trump's tariffs went into effect and China and the European Union retaliated. Nvidia jumped 3% while Tesla rallied 4% on the stock market today in an attempt by the electric car giant to break a 4-day losing streak. Dow stocks tried to get off the ground after a 4-day losing streak, but blue chips dropped 0.6% in recent action. The S&P 500 climbed initially, but was off 0.4% as it also faced a string of 5 down sessions. Meanwhile, the Nasdaq rallied 0.4% on the stock market today as the tech-heavy index sits far below all its moving averages. Finally, small caps on the Russell 2000 dipped 0.2%. Volume was lower on both the New York Stock Exchange and Nasdaq compared with the same time on Tuesday. Decliners tagged advancers on both exchanges. Do you understand this language? I really don't. The yield on the benchmark 10-year Treasury note surged 11 basis points to 4.37%, and the Innovator IBD 50 exchange traded fund lost 1.4%. Tariffs hit, China fights back. New tariffs went into effect midnight Wednesday. Trump announced 34% tariffs on China, but added another 50% after the nation announced retaliatory levies of 34%. China hiked its tariffs on U.S. goods to 84%, which are scheduled to start on Thursday, and added more U.S. firms to its unreliable list. China, however, also opened the door to equal-footed negotiations. The European Union voted to approve its first retaliatory tariff, which is set to go into effect next week. Elsewhere, minutes of the Federal Reserve's latest meeting are due for release later today. They are expected to provide clues to the committee's thinking on the future path of rate cuts. This should be very interesting. On Thursday, the U.S. Labor Department's inflation report for March is expected to show a 0.1% increase from February and 2.6% annually. Core inflation is also seen ticking higher by 0.3% month on month and 3% on an annual basis. Well, you're right, LaDonna. Change is always hard, but usually turns out to be for the best. Exactly. Adjustments last a few days. Great point. Great point. Nvidia stock tries to rebound. Nvidia rose on Wednesday, but remained below its key moving averages. Though tariffs have not landed on semiconductor imports yet, the escalating trade tensions between China and the U.S. are a risk. Among other Dow stocks, Apple reversed higher after a 4-day losing streak when the tech giant lost its crown as the biggest company by market cap to Microsoft amid the intense sell-off. Late Tuesday, White House press secretary, and we watched her, Caroline Leavitt, stated that Trump wants iPhones manufacturing to move to the U.S. Foxconn, Apple's China contract manufacturer, makes the majority of iPhones. Meanwhile, retail giant Walmart warned that the range of its operating income for the current quarter had widened, though it maintained its outlook on sales and for 2026. According to reports, roughly 1/3 of Walmart's sales come from imported goods that now face levies. That's right. Walmart sold our country out to China. And never forget, during COVID, what company got to stay open all the time? That would be Walmart. Exactly. I don't think that Walmart should be able to move forward into the new golden era. They really don't belong there. Their golden era is over. Bye-bye, Walmart. America's going to take care of itself now without your 1/3% of imported goods. Also on the Dow, United Health rose after clearing a buy point of 553.91. Magnificent 7 leader Amazon also gained. Outside the Dow, fellow Mag 7 stock Tesla attempted to break a 4-day losing streak, but remained below its 50 and 200-day moving averages as well. And that analysts at Benchmark noted that the recent stock pullback and sales declines, while significant, are overblown considering the near-term issues impacting the company and the scope of opportunities just around the corner. Delta Airlines, on the other hand, reported March quarter sales of $14 billion and earnings per share of 46 cents. Analysts pulled by FactSet had earnings estimates of 38 cents a share on $13 billion in sales. So I guess they were a little low on that one. The airline company's outlook for the current quarter indicates flat growth in sales. Delta did not provide a full-year forecast, citing current uncertainty. Shares rose nearly 6%, but remain in a downtrend. I personally never want to fly again. What about you? Are you flying the friendly skies? I would prefer to use my car, my hybrid vehicle, my Toyota hybrid vehicle. Yeah, it's a Toyota. That should be interesting. Let's see how Toyota starts making their cars here in the United States. I'm sure they'll do that very, very soon. Earnings season picks up this week with banks reporting on Friday. JP Morgan Chase, Wells Fargo, and Morgan Stanley are due to report that day, along with BlackRock. Shares of all 4 finance giants sit far below their 50-day moving averages. I'd like to see the end of them all. Elsewhere, Big Pharma caught more jitters as the Trump administration warned that more tariffs will land on pharmaceuticals shortly. Pfizer and Dow Jones Components, Johnson & Johnson, and Merck fell. The drug stocks extended recent losses on Wednesday. It's too bad, so sad. So yeah, that's the state of the stock market according to what was that? Investors.com. So that's our news for today on the stock market. It is interesting how, let's just look up what the headlines are about China as those tariffs go into effect. Here we go, New York Times 5 minutes ago. Trump tariff lives updates China hit with 104% tariffs as stocks slump. Oh, now the stocks are slumping. CNBC, this is 9 minutes ago, this headline. Trade war latest, Trump yells, "Be cool," as China warns tourists, students ahead of U.S. travel risks. Oh, are they warning Chinese students not to come to the United States? So sad. This is from The Independent. Trump tariffs live. EU votes for retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods while China imposes fresh 84% levy. Not falling for it. Let's see what Sky News has to say. They just posted this 12 minutes ago. And get their reader on. And their headline is what China could do next as Trump's tariff war ramps up. If the U.S. does indeed impose this extra 50% tomorrow, what could or would China do next? It has said it will fight to the end. But what does that mean? The severity cannot be overstated. If an additional 50% tariffs are levied on all Chinese goods, it will decimate trade between the world's 2 biggest economies. Remember, 50% would sit on top of what is already on the table. 34% announced last week, 20% announced at the start of President Trump's term, and some additional tariffs left over from his first term in office. In total, it means all Chinese goods would face tariffs of over 100%, some as high as 120%. That's a lot. That's a lot. Gina's over here spying on her daddy. It's a price that makes any trade almost impossible. So sad that we can't work with the people who use slaves as their workers. I don't know. I think that our days of using slaves are over. And I think things are going to get a lot better when we don't have slaves making our goods. And just think about it. Slaves making things in factories. First of all, slavery is wrong. Second of all, slaves don't care about the goods that they're producing because they're slaves. Second, the companies don't care about the slaves or the goods that they're producing as long as they make money. And the slaves often get sick from toxic chemicals used in the workplace because nobody cares about the slaves. And the slaves don't care about, well, I guess the slaves care about themselves, but the slaves maybe don't even know any better. So anyway. All right. China right now is the only nation in the world that is choosing to take a stand against President Trump. Isn't that interesting? Every other country in the world is publicly making concessions and sending delegations to negotiate with President Trump. But China has clearly calculated that not being seen to be bullied is worth the cost that retaliation will bring. The real question, though, is if the U.S. does indeed impose this extra 50% tomorrow, what's China's next move? Oh, there's Bam. Hi, Bam. Because China said it's going to fight to the end. Okay, so further export controls on rare earth minerals, which are crucial for the development of high-tech products, and so far only found in China. But I hear that we do have some rare earth minerals here in the United States, and we're going to have to start to mine them. That's just the way it is. They are spreading negativity, Bam. You're absolutely right. China controls a huge proportion of the world's supply of rare earth minerals. However, they really are not the only country that has rare earth minerals. Let me know if that noise is bothering you, if I need to get my microphone or not. I don't know. Let me know. I'll pull the phone a little closer. There. We'll all get all snuggly together. High tariffs on high impact U.S. products like agricultural goods is another option. But do you really want your agricultural goods to come from China? I don't. Let's talk about Chinese garlic for a minute. There is no reason for America to import garlic. Garlic can be grown in your own backyard. And garlic that comes from California is absolutely delicious and wonderful. And they have big garlic farms there, and they can produce all the garlic Americans can eat. So how do they produce garlic in China, and how do you know if the garlic that you're buying is made in China? You don't even have to look at the label to see if it's made in China, because you can tell right away. Chinese garlic is super white because it's bleached, and it looks perfect. And you won't see any little green sprouts coming out of that Chinese garlic because they make sure that it won't do that. It won't grow anymore, that it's kind of like dead garlic. It will sprout later, but it'll take a little while. Longer than your fresh garlic that you can buy from the grocery store if it came from a local farm or California or wherever garlic is grown. You'll see that it will maybe even be sprouting in the bag that you buy it in. And it will not look perfect, and it will not be bright white. That's how you know. Never ever buy the bright white garlic because it's bleached, and it's also maybe grown in sewage. Lots of things in China are grown in human garbage sewage. And Chinese people are really not very hygienic. I'm just going to tell you, it's just facts. I mean, little babies in China, they don't wear diapers. They crap in the street. I'm sorry, but it's a fact. You can get me for being racist or whatever. I'm just telling you the honest truth. Like, that fish tilapia? Remember back in I think the 80s or the 90s, they were like, ooh, tilapia, it's so good for you. It's so low in fat. It's so healthy. Yeah. Tilapia that's grown in China literally grows in water that is polluted, like sewage water. Yeah. I don't know how the tilapia live in there, but they're super hardy fish, and I guess they're kind of like, like pigs, they like to be in garbage. Maybe tilapia like to live in garbage. I don't know, but I don't think that you should be eating fish that survives off of sewage. That's really gross. Just saying. So do we really care that we can't get Chinese products anymore and that we're going to slap huge tariffs on them? I don't care. I'm happy about it. I don't want Chinese products anymore. I don't want to see that label made in China on anything that I buy ever again, anymore. I'm so done with it. Aren't you? In an opinion piece this morning, the editor of Xinjiao, Chinese state news agency, because they're commies, speculated that China could cease all cooperation with the U.S. on the war against fentanyl. This has been a major political issue for Mr. Trump. They don't even call him President Trump in this article. This is so rude. So rude. And if this were last year, they wouldn't call him Mr. Trump. They would call him former President Donald Trump. But guess what? He's President Trump. Oh, I love it. I love it so much. It makes me so happy. It's hard to see that it would not constitute some sort of red line for Trump, this article says. Other options touted include banning the import of American films. Please. Oh, the Chinese, they love our movies, right? Do you think that they can't get them? How do we not import American films? Please. That cow is out of the barn. Perhaps calling for the Chinese public to boycott all American products. Oh, be my guest. I don't think the Chinese are buying all of our American products. They're just making them. And they're calling America and China the world's two most powerful superpowers. I thought China was a third world country. How could it be a superpower if it's a third world country? Does any of this make sense? I am not at all worried about China being mad. I mean, if you're getting all of your pharmaceuticals from China, I would stop getting pharmaceuticals. Like, why? Why are they making our drugs? Like, how would you trust that? Bam says, think how crazy it was for China to change their garlic so their people could not use bulb or seeds to regrow more garlic in their own home. So definitely modify their food, seeds, no sprouts. Exactly. Yeah, and they copy everything we make, and they copy everything we do. I think we can live without Chinese products, and I think we can live without China. I'd even go so far as banning Chinese food. I don't need to eat Chinese food. It's crap. Have you been in the kitchen of a Chinese restaurant? You're not going to want to eat there after you do that. Just saying. So what do you guys think? Should I make this video go for everybody? Should I make it public, or is it too subversive? Let me know what you think about that. And that's right, Bam. You can't get fresh food and you have to ship it all the way from China. I mean, imagine, I'm here in Florida. Why the hell am I eating garlic from China? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Why would I eat anything grown in China? I live in Florida. Why would I eat fish farmed in China? That's pretty stupid. I have an entire ocean. This video, Bam, this one, I made this one only for members, but I'm thinking of making it public to everybody. What do you think? I mean, I'm not telling any lies. By the way, I never tell lies. You know that about me. I don't have an agenda. I'm not getting wealthy. I'm making like, I don't know. I think I might be up to $100 a month here on Facebook. $100 a month. Woohoo! Gets me some gas. I'm making money on Facebook again. That's kind of exciting. I do pretty well on Facebook, you know. That's where I got all you guys from. So I'll be posting a lot more on there. But all right. The trolls don't usually get crazy on replays, so it should be okay. All right, well, I'm gonna make it all so they can see it. They don't get to comment, just you guys did. So we'll see what happens. All right, you guys, I'm gonna say ciao for now. Have a great rest of your day.